Where do you guys want to start tonight?
Well, I was thinking of something in the car earlier that's not on any sort of docket. And the topic that came to mind was, what are some mean ass things that you can say to your playing partners while you're playing? So the first
Oh,
thing that came to mind
okay.
was like, if I'm playing a match with somebody, letting them know that they get a stroke on that hole. That's kind of a dick move. Like, hey man, just so you know, you get a stroke here.
Okay. Okay.
What else do we think would be something that you could say to your playing partner that would kind of rattle them?
I personally love to play mind games. Like that's half the fun in golf is playing mind games. And started that at an early age. I mean, when you play competitive golf, like that's part of the game. Is like talking a little trash and just, getting in people's heads and stuff like that. One of my favorites is like if somebody's sitting down, like lining up their putt, and you got to go around them to look at whatever you're going to look at, you know what I mean? And just kind of, they're sitting there behind it, lining it up, and I'll just walk right behind them and be like, hey man, knock it by, and just keep moving. And they heard me. Just makes them think about it a little bit.
Have you ever gone behind him and said like the way that you think the putt's gonna go?
No, but that could be a good one.
That's a dick move too.
Do you like give them what you really think it's gonna do too?
Nah,
like
just walk by. Hey, I think this is right to
see
left.
the putt and just be like, hey, it's 2 balls left. Like I can see it from right here, and it actually is. But
That's just like the ultimate, like, you know what I'm saying?
I know how this putt's gonna break.
I
I'm gonna tell you how to make it.
Yeah,
That would be a good one. Because
that's a really good one. What about
60 or 70% are not gonna believe you.
Yeah,
Even if that's what they saw.
and if you listen to it, even if he makes it, right? Even if he makes it, it's like, God damn, I had to listen to him tell me how to make that putt. You know what I'm saying? So even it's a win-win situation for you. If he makes it, he's mentally weak. If he misses it, he's mentally weak. So it's an awesome one to say.
That is true. Yeah.
You got any jabs, Scotty?
I tend not to jab. I try to more encourage people.
That could come off super condescending. I like that.
Oh, I'm the super cheer for you golfer too. Like I'll high five you when you knock it stiff. You know what I mean? Like absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I talk more trash when I was younger.
As a kid. Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. I talked more trash when I was younger. So my trash talk isn't too strong.
It's fun. You need to just practice being like killing with kindness. Like that could be like your sweet spot. You know what I mean? Just the really schmarmy, like, oh, man, that was awesome. Way to go.
See, the one thing I guess I've chosen to embrace, and Pat's actually brought it up like on a previous pod, is kind of like the responsibilities of being a low handicap golfer, and how like real growth of the game should take place with us, like helping the golfers that aren't so good. And I know I've also said on a previous pod like how annoying it is to play with somebody who sucks and is a poser and tries not to, or somebody who sucks and like wants to scramble off of your ball all day. Like that gets a little old. But at the end of the day,
you said
like
that like verbatim, by the way.
Yeah. I know.
Fucking court stenographer over here and shit.
Yeah. So
I went into every single detail. Once to use my shot in the scramble. I had forgotten about that part.
Yeah. Well,
can't even contribute in a scramble. Well, damn, Scott, they only pick one ball every time.
No, I mean like a casual round of golf when you show up and you get some randos and they're like, hey, let's play best ball. Now. Yeah, I know you do. See, look, his trash talk's even taking place on this pod. I don't know, man. I don't trash talk too much anymore. But the one thing I have learned is that the way you trash talk is different for almost everybody. And what could be trash to one person is another man's treasure. Literally, like you can motivate some people with your trash, and there's other people where, complimenting them, but being a bit condescending, like can totally get underneath their skin. And there are a few people out there, I'll get underneath their skin a little bit, and it's like they'll be sweating it over a shot a little bit, and you just kind of casually walk by, like Pat said, and just slip a "you suck," um, or they get up there and be like, "All right, I'm gonna blast this one around the corner with a hard draw," and I'll be like, "There's no chance in hell. Just hit your 5 wood out there and keep it down the middle."
Right.
you know so like
Yeah.
that still comes out from time to time, but for the most part I'm like cheering somebody up. If they say I'm going to hit this tight draw, blast the tee shot around the corner, I'm like, all right, today's your day. you know and I try to be
Yeah.
positive,
I
but there are
love
you.
that. That today's your day is awesome.
Yeah.
Today's
um,
your day. I like
One
it.
of the
yeah.
favorite things for when I'm dealing with somebody like that wants to like call their shot. I love when they miss. Right. If and I'm guilty of this shit too, right? If I'm playing with somebody that I play with frequently, I'll be like, hey man, this is what I'm gonna try to do here. I'm gonna try to start it right there and hit it with a nice little fade, and it's gonna do
Oh
this. And
yeah.
then nothing like that happens, and you just spray it. And then it's just like, oh, way to go, Babe Ruth. Way to call your shot. You know what I'm saying? Just that little thing right there is just a nice little zinger that gets you. Man, people just are like, oh,
You know what I feel like, again, it supports why I shouldn't trash talk, at least not too much. I remember playing in a scramble with some guys that I kind of knew, but not very well. I was actually invited to play, and it was because I was filling in for the dude that actually like put the scramble in the event in the tournament. And so his name's Ira. And so I'm playing with these other guys, and like I said, I kind of knew one of them. The other two were actually completely foreign to me. But we go out and play, and we're on the 11th hole at Lone Palm in Lakeland, and it's a par five, little like zigzagger, and we're behind the green in two in a bunker, and the pin's in the back, and they didn't really want to take the shot, but bunker play is one of my favorites, especially when it's like a tight little bunker shot where you can almost like take a small swing and just kind of nip it coming out. So I talk them into taking it. They all hit their shots. None of them get it like real close, but they gave me a little bit of feedback, just like watching their ball, hearing it come out of the bunker and all this stuff. And so I go pull the pin. And they all just, like, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
I hope
And
you
this is
left it in the bunker.
it was only like our second or third hole. And so yeah, I'm going to pull the pin. And so I hit it and it like violent lip out. Didn't go in. And believe it
that's
or not,
Neither.
because
good.
they were all kind of like
Okay.
laughing, like, who is this guy? And so violent lip outs. And honestly, being the smart ass that I am, I probably would have rode someone for that. And they actually like still talk about when I see them to this day, about like, oh, Scotty nearly made it. Like we thought he had it and it should have gone in, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like they easily could have rode me because I asked for it to come out because I thought it was going to go in and it didn't, you know? And that's why I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't trash talk anyway, and why I should encourage, because those guys have chosen to like to take the high road on that memory.
Oh man, hell no, they
It
are
was. I mean, you
just
you lifted
pumping you
out
up,
though.
bro. That is a
Like,
swaggy move, man. That's the shit. Like, yo, pull the pin. That's the shit, man.
and you
That's
lifted out.
awesome.
What
You
was that,
lifted
Pat?
out. I said, and you lifted out.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
said pull the pin and fucking sculled it into the lip.
Yeah, chunked it, left it in the bunker. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
have you ever had that shot where like you're just looking at it and you're gonna pull it off? Like has
Yes.
that ever happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of guys that every time I see them, they bring up a putt that I made. It was at the Grand Cypress deal that Howard does, and
Yeah.
they do the customer appreciation thing, and I can never remember one of them's name, but one of them is William, and they're a lawn care company in Ocala, and we were out there playing, and we were on. It was like It's right there in the first 4 or 5 holes, and it's a par 3, and, like, somehow we hit it on the green, but we were, like, 90 feet, right? Because we ended up stepping it off. But they had recently top dressed, and there was a little sand spot that was left. There was, about a half dollar, right? And I said, guys, if you can roll it over that spot with good speed, like, you can make this putt. And I mean, we're talking front of the green to the back of the green, up over a hill. And it was one of those, like, I just saw it. And I'm like, that spot, if you can get the ball over that spot, it's going to go in. And one of them, literally, because I had that spot, like, they both made, like, a really good run at it. From, 30 yards, you're not supposed to make a good run at it. And they actually did. And then literally my ball, I hit it and it rolls over the spot. And I went, guys, it just has to do its thing from this point. And it went in, and they lost their
It's
shit.
awesome.
So literally, like, we were jumping up and down, and I'm like, hey, where was that? Like, I got to step that off and see. You know what I mean? And I stepped it off 30 steps, and I'll trust my step to a yard all day long, just like everybody else would,
That's cool. So you
Yeah.
must have been
That's a
playing on the
super
new
cool
course.
story.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was on the
I
new
rec
course.
I recently saw they changed the name of it, like the whole facility, really.
Yeah, they
Like,
redid like a pile of it. That's why we basically had to stop the event, because they did renovations on it.
yeah. Well, and so from talking to our
And then
buddy
COVID. So
Renato, yeah,
yeah,
he was making it sound like they were just going to trash the original 27 and put condos on it or something like that. And it sounds like, maybe they did use part of that property, but they're still going to have a 36 hole facility there, rather than
yeah,
45. But
yeah.
um, EJ, if you've never been over whatever they're calling it today, that new course, or what used to be the new course at the old Grand Cypress, in my opinion, that's as about good of a course as Orlando has to offer, at least in terms of, like,
Really? Okay.
yeah, because again, it's something we talked
Like,
about on
what is a round at the new course cost?
these days. Like, I think in season, like 135. Summer season, it's like 80 to 90. But I mean,
Okay, that's a good round of golf.
yeah, I mean,
Reasonably
And then
priced.
that's your special round for whatever your time frame is. Like, if
yeah,
you go play a special round every 6 months or every quarter or whatever, every year, I'm gonna go blow it and have a good round of golf, and I'm gonna go, spend $100. There it is. And it's a
there's,
good round of golf, and depending on the wind, that bitch can eat you alive.
yeah. So here's the thing about it. Like, I've played most of the good courses around Orlando. There are a handful, and some of them are the big names, like the Isleworths and Interlockins and Country Club of Orlando. So I know,
Bay
it's
Hill,
a,
yeah.
yeah, Bay Hill. I know that's a tough qualification for me to say it might be the finest, but not talking about conditions is just talking about how enjoyable the course is. And, for a high handicap golfer, they can have a lot of fun because there are a lot of wide fairways. It tends to be, or at least it's supposed to play firm. So you can get the ball going on the ground and continue
That's
to
one thing
advance it.
I've never played it firm. I've never played
Yeah.
it when it was firm. Never have.
It's
And
it's
I've played it
primarily,
since I was like 15 years old to
yeah.
3 years ago, or whatever it
It
was, pre-COVID 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's supposed to be firm. I've only played it like semi-firm once, and that was actually with Renato. But firm or soft, like, it's fair, but it can beat you up. It's got some big slopes. And so for, like, the low handicap golfer, it will get into your head because depending on, like, where they put the flag, it could totally dictate the hole because of the slopes, because of the angles into the green. And so there might be a hole where it's like, okay, for this front right pin, it might be better to hit like a 3 wood or a driving iron wide left and play in, but then they go like up the chute, center cut, like maybe a little towards the back, and it's right over a knob. And so then you're like, dang, maybe I'm gonna blast a driver down there as close to the green as I freaking can and try to, just hit a big wedge in and spin the ball. And then
Yeah.
they might move the pin and tuck it over a bunker. And so then you're doing something completely different. And that's how golf should be, in my opinion. And it's probably my favorite Nicklaus design, or right up there. So I love the new course. It's a good one. And um, yeah, I
You just
think.
went into your whole like meticulous thing and sucked all the fun out of it. You just did it right there.
No, I'm sorry. You're a dick.
All right, I got another question for you.
How big
All right.
I
is
needed a good
Pat's?
laugh today. That was my only chance right there. I got a feeling that was
Man, that was funny. All right, so we were talking about scrambles earlier, right? And you were discussing like one of your highlights. Okay.
Yes.
So I remember playing in a scramble with Pat, or not with Pat, with Scott, and we were at Lone Palm in Lakeland.
Oh,
At
yeah,
Lone Palm in Lakeland.
yeah.
Okay. We play, I don't know, was it the 9th or the 10th hole?
Does it have a lone Paul?
It does.
Is there one?
One
Yep.
guy?
All right.
There's one guy named Paul. Yeah. Yeah. So, on this hole, right, I hit a massive drive. So we ended up taking my drive. And then everybody hit the second shot, and I jarred the second shot. So it was an eagle. And I believe it was off my drive, and I knocked in the second shot. Right. Does that count as like an eagle for me?
I mean,
Even
in
though it
my
was in a
book, yeah.
scramble? I don't think so. I
I
saw
mean,
4 attempts at the shot, right?
you did not
Oh,
hit
so you
last in
went
rotation.
last.
Oh, I was going last.
No, you weren't. I remember some things
I don't
succinctly.
feel like you were going last with Scott. Like you were one of those people
Probably
that
was.
picked up his shots and
Who else was playing with us that time?
That was you, me, Timmy Reed, and Nick Nugent. And
Timmy
played
Reed sounds like a
twice,
baller.
correct? Timmy Reed is a baller.
Timmy is a baller. I think he might have
Just the
been.
name sounds like I can play. No.
Yeah,
Timmy Reed will take your money.
I think Timmy might have been an honorable all mention one year while at Florida Southern. So yeah, he's a good player. He doesn't play anymore though. But yeah, it was you, me, Nick, and Timmy, and
two mops, baby.
yep.
See,
So
that was the first year that we played. It was the 4 of us, and Tim was just hitting everything to as close as fucking possible. And I
Yeah.
ended up making all the putts that year. We played a second year, and it was you and I think Nuge. And I think Nuge brought somebody.
that's right. He brought his cousin or something like that.
And that was the year that I made that eagle.
Okay. Well, either way, you
So I might have
probably
been hitting closer to the end.
nah. You're hitting. No.
Hey, I'll say this: if you went first, definitely an eagle.
Yeah.
I wasn't first though. I wasn't. I know I wasn't first. I don't
it
think.
doesn't matter.
I believe him on this. I believe him on this because if he went first, he'd have been like, "Hey, there was this time I made an eagle in a scramble." But if he didn't go first, he knows it, so that's why he's kind of questioning the whole like, was it an eagle or not?
I'm going to break it down simply for you. It's not uncommon, whether you're playing a scramble or you're just playing a casual round of golf, that you'll get to see other golf shots before you hit yours. And some of them might even be similar. Like, it's always possible if somebody hits an approach that has a similar putt to yours, or, somebody happens to hit a similar tee shot to you, and, you go after them. So I'm in favor of, whether you watch someone else hit or not, if you hit the shots, then
It counts.
it counts. And I would never be in favor of trying to post a score from a scramble,
Well,
no matter how
of
awful
course
your
not.
team is.
Of course
Because
not.
at some point somebody's going to make a putt, or somebody is going to jar a chip or do something. But
Right.
yeah, if you want to say, dude, I blasted a tee ball, held out for a deuce on a par 4. By all means, go for it.
All right. So would a hole in one count in a scramble?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Based upon the
Okay.
criteria that I just stated, absolutely. I gave a guy a credit for a double eagle when I'm pretty confident we took my tee shot. This guy,
I agree with that.
we're on the 17th hole at Eaglebrook.
Like, if you hole out like a 3-wood, counts. Doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Let's talk about calling your shot.
But if you hole out like a 9-iron from somebody else's drive, different story.
Okay. So listen to this. Talking about calling his shot. Again, this is why I'm lucky. His name's Eric. Eric gets up there, 17th hole. We got 235 out. I'll never forget it. It's the only double eagle I've ever witnessed.
Yep.
235 out, and he goes, I'm gonna feather a 3-wood, and it's gonna slide down the slope in the hole. He hits this 3-wood.
No, he didn't.
He hits this 3-wood like a buttercut. It lands a little short left of the hole and trickles in.
So a buttercut is a feather, by the way.
To him, it was.
Yeah, because it looks just like a feather. It's a tight little feather, man. That's why it's a feather cut, because it just looks just like a feather, which is a nice little slight little fade, and the dude made it.
Yep, and the dude made it. He's gonna feather a 3-wood in there, and it's gonna take the slope into the hole. And
Big Dick, the whole scramble.
And here's the thing that's really wild. If you ever played that course, the 17th hole has basically 2 greens, and the upper left corner is a little bit like almost a humpback, and then the right side, especially the back half of the right side, is a punch bowl. So if you were going to hole a shot out, you'd expect it to be in the punch bowl. No, he did it over on the left where it's like a hunchback, and it's like, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah.
I've never met this guy, but I hate his fucking guts. If you could call your shot on a double eagle on a fucking albatross, go to hell.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just go away. I can't deal with him. That's insane.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna make sure he listens to this pod just so he can.
Is insane.
Good.
I mean, like anytime you have an albatross from over 200, like it's different. I feel.
Oh man,
he's the man.
It's such a cool story, man. It's such a cool story, and I'm just hating for the same reason that I hate on Khaled, because I'm not him. You
feather it. He said I'm gonna feather it.
Fuck that guy.
God didn't say feather. He said buttercut. That's the same thing.
Yeah, he said feather it. It was sexy.
Crazy. Oh man. So I know we wanted to discuss training aids this week, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, training aids.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let's dive into. We'll go through each person individually, right? And we'll go through what training aids we use and why we use them. And if there's anything else on the market that you think would be good, let us know. And we'll start with Pat.
Oh, training aids I use. One training aid. It's the Swing Glide. I like the Swing Glide. It's a. Hang on, I'll show you.
Was that by Ledbetter?
No.
Okay.
By Ledbetter. I don't remember who made it.
All right, screen share. You getting ready to do your thing?
Sounds like he's got it. Yes. That's the one.
Yeah. This is a knockoff off Amazon, but I bought like 3 of them, and this is the straightest one because the other ones get a little crooked at the top and it doesn't hit into your arm.
Okay,
so I knew that as the swing setter growing up.
Okay, yeah, this is the swing.
So you know it as the swing guide.
Yeah, or glide. So you take this and you slide this down onto the shaft, and you pinch basically right at the top of your grip, and then when you take it to the top and you get the club set right, it lays into your forearm just right. And
into your left forearm.
Yes, it's your left forearm. So yes, and then obviously you can do it on the way through. I can, not everybody does. But it helps me get my
kind of irrelevant coming through.
Yeah, it is. But it helps me get my hands higher. A lot of times I don't finish my backswing up. Literally, I mean, I just take it too short. I get like John Rahm. and I'm not as fast as my hands aren't as fast as his, and I thin everything. So I got to get my hands higher. And so when I get my hands higher, I hit the ball more flush, and this thing gets my hands higher. It's the only training tool that I use, and I put it on a 6-iron, and that's the only way I use it.
All right, Scott, what do you do?
So nothing, because I don't practice anymore. But I do have an old Callaway 6-iron that has the Ledbetter swing trainer grip on it. And so I like that one a lot. It's not the one that's like real like bulky and bulgy. This is a blue one that's more like nubby. And so it feels more natural in my hands. I like it. I just like it better. So if I could design like a perfect swing training aid for me, it would actually be a tour striker, which someone on this pod has, with the swing guide, glide, setter, whatever you want to call it, and that Ledbetter training grip. And you true those things up, and I would say just go out and rip it. I think that would make a great training aid. And so, I like the tour striker because it, besides, forcing you to really hit the ball flush in the center of the sweet spot, it also encourages, forward press at impact. I like the swing guide, because of the angle. And then I like the grip because I just think the grip is something you can never not work on. It should always not necessarily be a work in progress, but it should, it requires preventative maintenance. So always working on the
All
grip.
right. I'm going to have a grip question after this.
And what was the first thing?
But
My dog was running
the
off.
What was that?
the first thing he
What was the-
uses is a
Yeah.
Callaway 6-iron that has the Ledbetter grip on it.
No. The training thing that he said he would make. He said that you got it. What is it?
Oh, it's called a Tour
Makes-
Striker.
There we go. Okay, let's hear about the
Yeah.
tour striker.
So I've had the Tour Striker for probably 8 months, and I bought it because Scott told me to, and it's been the best thing I've ever bought. It's basically
You just
a
put out a
7-iron.
video with it.
I did, yeah. It's a 7-iron that has no leading edge, so it's unbelievable for going, and you have to hit the sweet spot. If you don't, it sculls and just dribbles right in front of you. So for somebody that has had contact issues in the past, it's been something that has been absolutely awesome for me. The other thing that I used before I got the Tour Striker was the hanger, and that is very similar to the
Show
the
me
swing
the tour
guide.
striker, Scott. I don't know what the tour striker is.
Yeah,
Okay.
pull that up, and then you can pull up the hanger too, because I'm
looking
big.
at the hanger right now.
All right, yeah. So the hanger it's an attachment that's similar to the glide, and basically what you're supposed to do is when you get to the top, the hanger is resting on your left arm. So it's a very similar idea to the swing guide. But the Tour Striker is awesome. So if Scott can pull that up and do the share thing, it's got no leading edge, and you've got the option to get that in a 7-iron and I think in a pitching wedge as well. So
Is it Sharon? No.
it's not
No, not
sharing.
yet.
No, we're looking bad on the share.
It's slow to come up. It's coming though.
It's all right.
So
There we
interesting tidbit. A coworker of mine married into Martin Chuck's family, and
Sorry to
Martin
get so
Chuck,
close, but it's a long way away.
Martin Chuck is actually the creator of Tour Striker.
Yeah,
That looks hard to hit.
it's super hard to hit. It's incredibly
Wow.
hard to hit. Is there a way, Scott, you can show show the other side, not that side?
This one?
No, the
Yeah.
one to the right of it. I want you to see the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This
Yeah.
would be a lefty.
Yeah.
So you got
So
to hit
that's
it.
the club itself.
Correct.
And that's the outline of a traditional club.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
So you got to make sure you're hitting the sweet spot. And that's usually the club I hit first. So I always
Yeah.
try to hit that one first, and if I'm hitting that good, usually it's a good day. Any way you can pull up the hanger, Scott?
That with, and you're not wrong. That with a little grip thing, yeah. I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't need a little bit of grip help? You know.
So here's the hanger. This is what I used before I got the Tour Striker. So you set it up very similar.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, make sure your hands are closed because I was having an issue with a bowed uh, wrist at the top. So getting this helped me eliminate that weak left or that weak slice. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's the angle right there. So my left wrist was bowed at the top, and I used this to make sure that I didn't have it um, kind of bent, and
Gotcha.
that was yeah that was a godsend for me. So
So
once
was
I
it?
figured that
I
out,
don't remember. Was it bowed like this or was
no
it
no no
bowed?
that way.
That's okay. That's what I thought. So you actually had it. Yeah, that's right. You had it real shut, and so you either hit a weak slice trying to avoid the hook, or it was just a violent hook.
Correct, correct. So
Yeah.
once I figured that part out, uh, I lost all the. I really only hit like a little fade or like a pull. You know what I mean? Those are my only two misses that I have really, which is nice.
Well, I think the swing guide or even this hanger, either one of them on a tour striker would be pretty sick. I think I would still probably be preferable of the swing guide just because this has a lot going on, and I don't know how well it would work with a with a lead better grip. But
It or with a tour striker because you got to try to make sure you're really leaning forward to make sure to get that sweet spot hit.
yeah. So you're saying you think with this it'd be pretty difficult to get that forward press?
I do. I do.
Hmm.
But I'm an idiot.
You look like an idiot. No, I'm kidding. Um, Actually, I'm trying to figure out this hat that you have on, man. That thing looks sick. Pork missile.
Pork missile. I like that.
It's
There's
actually
some that I've. Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, no. I was gonna go back into the swing training stuff, but like, so I thought about the swing trainer stuff, and I got to looking at some of the like old ones that I remember. There was like the right angle. That man, I remember that one being around. That was like this. It it literally looked like it. Like for somebody in rehabilitation with an elbow injury or something. You know what I mean? And it had like a brace at the top, and then it had a bracket in the middle, and then it had like two straps on your forearm, and then like down at your wrist. Like those, like people, you know what I mean? And like those were
Talking about from Tin
nuts. I
Cup?
mean, no, like it was called a right angle. Like it's legit. Screen share it. Like it's a right angle golf, yeah, golf trainer. And yeah, your algorithm will be just completely screwed on everything whatsoever because performance golf will throw ads at everything you got now because performance golf pretty much it looks like they bought all of the old training stuff that people used to use way back in the day.
Yes, I remember this.
Yes.
Right angle to golf swing elbow brace.
Like they were super popular.
Have either gank that he uses for swing aids?
Whoa. Say that again. You were all over the place there.
Yeah.
Yes,
George,
that's her.
George Genkus.
I don't know enough about George to comment.
Yeah, the right angle. Like there were tons of those floating around. I don't even remember what
Yeah.
it did, but people used the hell out of them.
Is this Blair O'Neill
So
here?
looks like it. That's a bullshit training aid. You shouldn't be allowed to use that. You can't play in that, right?
You're not really
No.
supposed to play with any of them.
So Genkus has like a box that he puts on your hip And the premise of that, I think, is to make sure that the club is coming before the hip gets cleared. I think it's GANKS. Yeah.
And what is it?
There
Golf
was one that
box?
I saw, like
Golf.
you like basically hooked a
It,
bungee cord to your belt buckle.
I think it's called the G box.
The G box.
Yeah, which is a great name.
I mean, it sounds like a great time.
Yeah, go to his page. Oh, he's got the G snap too, which is similar to the hanger, making sure that you have that left wrist not flexed but bowed.
Okay.
I don't know if this is it. This might be his like
It's like an app or
oh
something.
yeah, he's got an app. This guy's doing the fucking most.
So that's what I was to
Man,
say I
he's got it
appreciate
going
about this
on.
guy is he's just a hustler.
I love it.
But you look at his poster child, he isn't
Go to
doing so well.
go to the G snap.
Which one? Here?
Yeah, so
There's a G box.
that's the G box. See how you got the videos below on Facebook with these dudes wearing the G box?
Look at this thing, dude.
Yeah, it's
It's literally a box.
right. It's wild, and I guess he says it'll stop you from getting stuck, whatever that means.
Where you bump instead of turn.
Yeah,
Oh, here's G Snap.
yeah, that has the same premise as the hanger. You wear that on your left wrist. Yeah. Oh,
Now we're advertising for George Gankis. You're
that's
welcome,
all right.
George.
It's okay, man. I would rather be the guy that tells you what honestly works instead of being the paid shill of a fucking golf guy. We can mute him.
Is it muted?
I don't know. Should be. I don't want to hear his ass. I'll talk about it. Who's this? Matt
What?
Wolf? His ass sucks.
Couldn't tell you if that's Matty.
I don't know.
He's probably right now hiding from Brooks anyway.
That's funny shit, man. Matt Wolf. Oh,
Wolf.
man.
No,
Any
it
others?
looks interesting.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think just that's good. He's different. He's different. So it's kind of he's got some cool stuff. I don't know if any of it works, but he markets it well.
I'll tell you another training aid that I like, but I've not used, is the lasers for your putter.
Yeah.
To really get an idea of where it is you're aiming the ball. And there's different ones out, like mirrors and other things that you can use, but it's still leaving some guesswork up to the golfer, to the user. And the laser, as long as you get that thing on your putter face correctly, it isn't gonna lie. And
Yeah.
I think when you can train your eyes to really aim the ball correctly, man, it can make a world of difference.
I've used the mirrors before.
Yeah, and the mirrors aren't bad. I'm not gonna take anything away from them, but it's not the laser.
See, I've never used any of those. I've never really understood like why people use them.
Okay.
So I had
Like,
a friend text
what's
me.
the mirror for?
The mirror is to make sure your eyes are set up over the ball.
Yeah.
But do you want your eyes directly over the ball?
It depends on your stroke. If you're gonna putt like
I'm
DeChambeau,
open door, closed door. I want mine a little bit back.
yeah, I'll say if you're gonna putt like DeChambeau, which he's got his putter basically set up to be like a 90-degree angle, you want to have your eyes right over that ball because his stroke is just probably as true back and through, as you can get
Yeah.
it. But if you're gonna putt with any sort of an arc, they say you want your eyes right over the ball, but realistically, in my opinion, my not as professional as it once was opinion, I really want my eyes to be, on, I guess you would say, or hanging over the edge of the ball nearest to you. Because it's going to put your eyes on a little more of the arc that your putter stroke is going to be on. The one
I like
thing
I like to drop the ball and hit the hosel.
Yeah, I could see that. And that's not going to put it too far off from what I'm suggesting. So, but
No.
yeah, I mean, I want my eyes to be, on right over the edge of the ball nearest to me. And the only downside I see to it is, for some golfers, it can create like mishits. But if you're mishitting anyway, it's probably because you're not practicing enough, at least in my opinion. Another thing I used to like somewhat preach is like people always talk about keeping your blade low through impact, and I used to like talk about pushing pennies. But what I would actually encourage people to do is not push a penny at the sweet spot of the putter. You actually put it down at the heel, and that actually helps encourage a little rotation of the toe through the putt. Because if you keep your heel low,
Say that again. I'm not following you.
when you
Pushing
hit
pennies.
like you have a penny on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
when you strike through a putt, your putter blade should stay fairly low. Okay? If you start
Mm-hmm.
getting high, you're going to mishit the putts. You're going to put some different topspin on it, and you're not going to get a very true roll in the sense of like your distance, your feel. So you really want to kind of keep the
You get
blade
that
low.
Rory McIlroy skull. I gotcha.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
notorious for sculling it.
And you'll actually see it like a lot of great players and great putters, even though we always are taught have a pendulum stroke. That has more to do with your actual tempo back and through than it is the length of it. And a lot of great putters, their follow through is slightly shorter than their backstroke, and it's also due to the fact that the ball is slightly head of center where we're impacting it, because we are trying to hit the ball on a slight upward arc to get the end over end roll. And so that's why the follow through will be a little bit shorter. But the downside is some people put the ball so daggone forward in the front that they're missing their putts. And so, like, I was always an advocate, if you put a penny down, you should still be able to push that penny through the impact of the putt. And where I would put the penny down, like, I'd want the ball dead
On
nut
the
center.
heel. Yeah.
I want that penny on the heel.
Yeah. I'm with you. Okay, now it makes sense. So basically, you were teaching them how to putt, and you put the penny right on the inside of the ball, and make sure that the putter blade hit the penny too.
Yeah. And
Got
pushed
it.
it.
Yep, I like that. That's a good one. I just didn't understand what you were saying, pushing the penny, but yeah, you put a penny right behind the ball and on the inside of it, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
So
Yeah,
Best
yes,
way to do it.
go ahead.
I'm not. Well, what I was going to say is I'm not going to guarantee anybody that pushing pennies is going to help you make more putts. But what it should be able to do is help you get a more consistent roll. And if you start putting from like 15 to 20 feet and just hitting a lot of putts, pay attention to where your first putt rolls and stops. If you say hit 3 or 4 putts and you can excel at pushing pennies, you'll start seeing your second, third, and fourth balls roll out, to a very similar distance and have a very similar end spot. So I think once you start getting that consistency, eventually making more putts is going to follow.
We need
Is
to
it?
cover good drills one day. That would be a good podcast topic. Just drills and drills.
Yeah. And
It'd make a
speaking of
good.
putting, I think the best putting advice I ever got was keep your hands the same distance from your body.
Hmm.
Kenny
Yeah,
Knox told me
interesting.
that one, and I
Interesting.
was like, and I started doing it, and I'm like, okay.
So is
Knox.
that trying
Yeah.
to make sure that you turn?
Yeah. It gets the open door,
Ah,
closed door just perfect. You keep your hands your same distance from the body, and you don't hit it as often.
interesting tip. I like that.
So you like
But
the way
see, Scott
Hideki
was talking
Matsuyama
about
puts?
pushing pennies, and I'm like, yeah, if your hands are the same distance, you push pennies. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. You'll
Yeah.
always push that penny if your hand is the same distance from your body the entire time. Yeah, he told me
So,
that one, and like, if you can perfect that one, you're gonna be a good putter. That's all there is to it. You don't have another option. Like, you can if you barely know how to read greens and you keep your hands the same distance to the stroke, you're gonna make putts. It happens.
so what do you think of Hideki Matsuyama's putting stroke? It's very robotic.
I don't know it enough to have an opinion on it. I know that it's pretty damn good. I don't know
Yeah, I
if
mean,
there's any.
can't be
You
too
know,
bad if you want a Masters.
no, but he's super meticulous and super slow with the stroke, and if I'm not mistaken, right?
I mean, is he slow to hit the putt sometimes? But no, I mean, he takes a pretty good whack at it,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't say he's
Those
like,
are the ones that are always wild to me, is the guys that have like the slow putting strokes. Just,
yeah, I don't know.
but then there's Brandt Snedeker.
Well, and Spieth too, when it comes to actually firing the putt, it's like he just looks at the hole and then rears back and hits it. But yeah, Snedeker, his is awesome.
So yesterday was Prime Day. Did anybody get anything golf related?
No,
Did anyone look at anything golf related?
some shoes. I always look at some golf shoes.
I
bet
had
they
a
weren't FootJoys.
I looked at some nice New Balance gum bottoms that I almost got. I decided not to.
so I had a buddy send me a link to a like swing TrackMan type thing yesterday that he was looking to get.
Really?
And yeah, I'll give you the name of it. It's called the SkyTrack launch monitor.
Okay.
Can you pull it up, Scotty?
Yeah.
The SkyTrack.
The SkyTrack. I don't know if anybody knows anything about it. So he was asking me about it, and I had no
How
info.
much is it?
So I think it was like 1,500 yesterday.
They
How
got
much they want?
one. They got one at Indoor Golf Shop. That's $2,000, and they go up from there.
Yeah, they wanted 1,500 for it on Prime Day. I don't know if he pulled the trigger or not. Is this the one Tiger Woods is invested in? Is
I
he
have
in
no
any
idea.
of the commercials?
I would have thought he was with TrackMan.
I know he's in with someone, and I believe okay. It's a Oh
But a
Jesus.
TrackMan's like 40 G's, right?
Right.
I don't know what a TrackMan costs these days.
Yeah. Because I remember my buddy Mike Rice, the coach at FAMU, was talking to me about it, and he was talking to the AD a couple years ago, and it was like 30, 40 G's. I'm like, they're that much? And he's like, yes. But they got one. I hadn't messed with it, but they got one.
Hey, you're friends with the coach of FAMU?
Yeah.
He should do the pod. He should do the pod.
Yeah. He'll
I
do
would
it.
I would love to interview him.
JD will do it for sure.
We should set
So
that up.
I'll tell you a launch monitor that I'm a fan of is this one. It's changed a bit over the years, but mostly just in name, not so much in principle. This ESB1 personal launch monitor.
Yeah.
It's not going to wow you, but it's accurate, at least accurate enough that you can benefit from it. And $500, it'll fit in your bag. It won't weigh you down, especially if you're a cart rider. But also, if you break it, you're not going to necessarily cry about it. But the big keys there, and they're saying it right here, is measure 6 critical data points: ball speed, club speed, distance, like total and carry, smash factor, spin rate, and launch angle. And I love distance and spin rate. Distance just because you should really know how far you're carrying the ball, but that spin rate's so important. And it's like some of these other ones, man, they give you so much damn information. We're not John Rahm and some of these other guys that, like, when they're not
I already
playing well,
made a reference that I was John Rahm earlier. So, I mean, I don't know,
well,
maybe.
but we're not all all Americans like you, Pat.
It's true.
So I
It's
like
true.
this
To
little
be John Rahm.
one. And then Flight Scope totally like had a business model change, and they're now putting out this Mevo. And I don't know if they're still trying to compete with TrackMan, but this Mevo has been catching on, at least as far as I know.
$400.
Yeah, $400-500, and it's, I would say, a competitor to that Ernest Sports ESB1.
Okay.
And so what I do know is that some players
But
these days,
Yeah,
They're getting a
I look at it
flight
like,
scope and a
yeah,
TrackMan. Go ahead, Pat.
and a TrackMan.
Yeah,
Like
this
people are
is.
just buying a TrackMan.
I mean, professionals do. I wouldn't be surprised
Oh
if
yeah,
some of them
yeah,
just get
yeah,
them sent.
yeah.
But do you think TrackMan can stay in business if they got, 1,000 professionals out there wanting one and they're just throwing them a $30,000-$40,000 piece of machinery?
No,
No.
no, but I'm just talking about everyday players. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that are out there just buying a TrackMan, but yeah.
Well, I'm talking
I'm
about like
sure that,
the
I mean,
pros.
but at the same time, yeah, but at the same time, these, if you're really trying to be good, $500 is nothing for that information,
Yeah.
Especially if you're
in
paying
my opinion.
$100 to get fit.
Yeah.
And so this does give a couple, interesting tidbits, interesting data points. Um, I like how it's going to give you this face impact location. This does a bit more, this one's a bit sexier than the ESB1 from Ernest, but this one also looks a bit more like it's pay to play. But yeah, I like
Yeah,
this one as well.
but I think some of those, like some of these things, and I honestly I've never used one of those. I've No, not like out on the driving range. I've hit on things in like Edwin Watts and like club fitters, but not on a range. Let's hit with the, get the spin and all that kind of stuff. But in all honesty, those things would be hugely beneficial if you could just stand out there with a driver and find out, like, where's my lowest spin rate? Is it
Yeah.
teed at this adjustment and the ball 2 balls back? You know what I mean? Is my spin better there, or is it better teed lower, but a little bit further up? Actually, somehow my spin's lower. You know what I mean? Like everybody's swings different.
Yeah. Well, see, and I think you and I are congruent there, Pack. As I said, I really care a lot about carry distance and spin rate. And you're talking about the same thing because there's so many players that have no clue that how far they hit it and how much or how little they're spinning the ball. And launch angle is important too, but I feel like you
But
get
if you're
more
hitting it
from the
into the wind,
spin.
you have to have no spin. The lowest
Yeah.
spin, the better into the wind. It doesn't matter what the launch angle is. I mean, high is not good, but it's all about the spin hitting it into the wind.
Yeah. Well, EJ, how I've been talking about, like, we need to go have some clips. We need to get out on the golf course, instead of trying to do some little like mid-round clips on a practice range. Like, let's do it on the course. And this is actually one of the topics I want to approach is like, what do you do in the middle of the round? And so I'll just give you like a quick synopsis. You get playing into the wind. Common knowledge says tee it lower. Um, Lee Trevino and some other great players have actually said when you're playing into the wind, tee it higher. So you hit it higher on the face. You're not going to go crazy, but you're going to tee just a little bit higher. Yes, the ball's going
Get
to
that
launch higher,
down.
but it's gonna have way less spin on it because especially with your driver and some of your bigger face like irons and fairway metals, you will hit the ball with significantly less spin the higher you go on the face. So
Drop kick.
yeah, that's another way to do
That's
it.
what it is. I mean,
But
that's basically you're creating a little mini drop kick.
in a sense, yeah. So they would actually encourage you teeing it down. Now, vice versa, you go downwind, go ahead and tee it a little lower and smoke the hell out of it. So you put more spin on the ball, make it ride up and carry in the wind. Um, if we decide to have a video, we can actually get into why that might be good.
Or the when you get to a certain level, and I've never understood it, but when you're really downwind, you hit a 3-wood.
Yeah,
Really get it spinning.
yeah.
I mean, it's weird, but they,
Launching higher and spinning harder.
yep, downwind launch 3-wood. Let it rip.
Interesting. I would have never done that ever. And all that tea and shit is completely counterintuitive to everything that I would have ever tried. So I love that tip too. That's fantastic. So I saw on the website earlier that you could.
Just take you some Carmex into the wind and wipe it on the face, and then hit your driver and watch it fly. You'll outdrive everybody, I promise. Just
Yeah,
make sure your
yeah.
driver's pointed where you want it to go, because it's going that way.
Yeah, that way then
Like
if
a
anybody's calling you
knuckleball.
out for it, be like, oh, it's a windy day. I need it on my chapped lips.
Exactly.
Yeah. So on that
We'll get
website,
into cheating another day. I'm all
yeah,
about the cheating, by the way.
I'm for it. I'm for it. So it said you can pay $20 to get something engraved on your flight monitor. What would you pay to get engraved on yours?
Whoa.
I got two that come to mind.
Jolly golfer.
Bingo.
Three. Property of Jolly Golfer. Hashtag Jolly Golfer. No, I would say tee high and let it fly.
Mhm.
Or drive for dough and just leave it
Buttons
that.
for
Drive
bitches.
for dough
Drive for
and
the hand. Okay. I got you. I'd
if you
probably go
really
kind of
look at
simple
it
and put
though,
my initials on it, to be honest with you.
oh, old school.
I'd put
You're
my
old.
phone.
He
Huh?
probably put his monogram.
I'd put my phone number.
My phone number. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
If lost, call this
8675
number.
for you.
There you
That's not a
go.
bad idea.
Put my phone number.
$20, you can get it engraved.
That's crazy.
Got
So
him.
I was thinking of, since we were talking about content outside of the podcast, right? I was driving the other day and I've been practicing, so I sound better on the mic and all that stuff. So I was recording myself and I was talking about what the Live and PGA Tour should combine, right? Like, let's say we're going to try to keep all the assets for Live and all the assets for the PGA Tour. What would be the easiest way to combine them that would make things interesting? So I'll give you my idea and you let me know what you think. So the first thing I thought was we can't get rid of the majors, right? That's the legacy of golf.
Never.
So we got to keep those
Well, the PGA
No.
Tour doesn't own those. Let's make certain that's
still.
yeah.
But there's tournaments. There's also tournaments that I don't know who owns what, but like there's certain ones you can't get rid of though. Like
Right.
that's just
Yeah.
they're and it's not just majors. It's certain ones like you can't get rid of the players. I don't think you can get rid of Bay Hill.
Right.
Or the Memorial.
Right.
I always struggle
You
to say
can't get rid of that
Memorial.
one. You can't get rid of Kapalua neither. Like you have to start
Yeah.
with the Sony. You know what I mean? Like you have to
Mhm.
start with the Sony, and that has to be the 18th hole for the first tournament of the year. Just it has to happen. We can't go anywhere else in January. You know what I mean? That's some of the ones that they gotta have. I feel like. Do you need the John Deere? No.
So here's what I'm thinking.
I love
right?
Pebble. I'd hate to see Pebble go away.
You gotta have the AT&T and whoever the celebrities are and Barkley
The
out
Bing
there talking
Crosby
trash
clam
and
bake.
it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Price
we
is
keep the
wrong.
majors. We keep the majors, and they're in the same spots, right? April through July. So ideally, we'll have a golf season that spans January to August. That's like the golf regular season. So we've got the 4 majors, and we have an 8-month golf season. So we have one designated event each month, right? Pick whatever it is. It's all good. So one designated event each month plus the 4 majors. And those winners are the 12 captains of the LIV teams. So we on the same page so far?
Okay.
All right.
What if you have a
So
multiple winner?
Yeah, I was like, what
it
if you
just
had a
goes to
Scotty
the it
Scheffler
goes
and
to
he wins
the
like 5 guys?
it goes to the next eligible person, right?
5
So
tournaments, okay.
if they finish second, they're now the captain, right? But these are the specific tournaments that make the captainship. The PGA.
So Padraig Harrington's gonna finish 11th in July, and he's gonna be one of the captains. I got
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So
right.
that way, those are your captains, right? Okay. So the regular season, all of this is predicated on a systematic, nominal way to judge golf, right? Every tournament needs to have some sort of value. There needs to not be one set of points for FedEx Cup, one set of points for Ryder Cup, one set of points for money. Special exemptions need to go away. There needs to just be one flat set of points, and every
no
professional
world golf ranking.
Every professional tournament gets some sort of set of points, whether it's if you win a major, you get 2,000, designated event, you get 1,000, PGA, you get 500, mini tour, you get 50, right? That way, everybody is garnering points to get to the goal of playing in the designated events and on the PGA Tour. So the rest of the weeks outside of the designated events and the majors, those are to try to fill the field for the designated event, right? So you keep them the same, keep the sponsors. It doesn't matter, right? There just needs to be more fluidity between the designated events and the regular season events. That way, if the guys, there should be no mandatory, hey, Rory's got to go play this tournament because he's the number 2 ranked player in the world. If Rory doesn't go, whoever is on the list of points, whether that's a Korn Ferry Tour guy that's finished 3rd in 3 events and has garnered more points than the PGA Tour guy that's missed the cut 5 times, he's in the event.
Maverick McNeely takes over Rory McIlroy's spot. Yeah, I'm with
There
you.
you go.
That way, okay.
That way you're getting more change of guard. Okay. So that's how everything's laid out. Designated events, you pick the players, you put them in there. Everything has to have a cut. Okay. So that's the regular season. We want to keep playoffs if we want, right? That way we can come up with a regular season winner. Okay. So instead of having the top 125 guys get automatically into the playoffs, what we're going to change is instead of it being 3 weeks, it's going to be 4 weeks. And we're going to implement like a Q school type vibe. So if you finish in the top 125, you skip week 1 of the playoffs. You're automatically in week 2. Week 1 of the playoffs is the top 156 in points that are outside of the 125. They play for the top 30 spots, and they're automatically in week 2. The top 30 spots go to week 2. Week 2's field is now 156 people. Okay. The cut in week 2 is 72 people. Those 72 people move to the following week. Those 72 people are the only eligible people for LIV teams. So your 12 captains now get to pick from those 72 people to fill their rosters. Okay. So the third week.
This is the LIV events.
Yeah. So this is the
building up to
LIV.
Yeah.
This is the PGA Tour season that's going to build up to like a LIV team tournament in the fall 3 months. And I think that's the easiest way to combine assets, right?
The best players in the world are playing 12 months out of the year. They don't like it.
They might if they're playing one tournament a month for buku money. Let's say, hey, right? Instead of making it,
but you have to get in the LIV Tour part.
Correct.
You can't automatically get in. So they're going to have to play 12 months the first year. They're going to have to play.
So what do they do with the Tour Championship?
Everybody plays every year.
All right, just listen. We're getting there. All right, so week
He's
3.
Getting on to me.
Week 3.
He's getting on to me.
72 guys, right?
Yeah.
The Tour Championship is the last week. Whoever finishes in the top 16 in the 72 go to the week following that, and they play a 4-round match play NCAA style tournament for the winner.
Balling. Love the match play.
Yeah.
Match play is golf. Stroke play is cool.
That's how the playoffs go.
I feel golf is one-on-one, mano-a-mano, play match play. You make 7, I make 3. You won 1.
So what you're really saying is that you want to see kind of like if you look at the NCAA basketball tournament,
bingo.
You kind of want to see like the round of 32 and then the round of 16. You know, what is that? The really your quarterfinals. And you want to see your semifinals, so on and so forth. Even though the numbers aren't the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to see some dude get hot in the first week and then just roll to the end.
Yeah.
That's some Korn Ferry nobody. That creates intrigue, right?
Michael Black.
And There you go. Now, the next 3 months, right?
Michael
if you want to
Block
do
got
the live,
dropped.
if you want to do the live invitational shit where you're doing one tournament a month and it's all the guys that are on live, and make it interesting, right? You can do
Oh, that's where like every tournament has a par 3 that's like a stadium. That
make
there's
it
music playing, and
yeah.
we're just having like everybody has walk up music. It plays while you hit. Yeah, we're throwing t-shirts. Like I think that stuff has to be in the game of golf, or nobody's gonna play anymore. We cannot be old man golf, wearing our pants all the time the way that Scott likes to. We got to get out there and have some fun. We have
Make
to
them
So
get out
play.
there and have
I
fun.
want to shit
I
on
mean,
you
and
two for a minute.
I am not all about, straight down the middle yelling it, but at the same time, let's have some music in our cart. Let's wear some shorts. Let's have fun, and let's play golf. I don't even think these boys should have to walk. I think it's more convenient to walk with a caddy, and I think that they should play with a caddy. But I mean, like, I don't even know why you need to walk,
See,
to be honest with you.
the live shit could replace what the match is doing. Right? You got 12 holes.
Exactly.
12
Yes.
I'm ready to
holes,
talk shit.
alternate shot, one team versus the other team for $5 million.
Playing an eightsome.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk shit. You're
Go
gonna hear
ahead.
it.
This,
So gonna
it
hear it.
makes it
If
more
that's what
interesting.
Everybody's got music in their cart, and
it's
everybody
intriguing.
brought their wives, and they're riding in the cart too.
It's intriguing. I see why you like it. If that's what you want, go play another sport. Get out of here.
I'm going to get my
Golf
live
won't
pad.
miss you. Golf has always stood out because it's different from every other sport. Why would we go and make
Right.
ourselves the same? Because then you know what? Hey, you may go and gain 3 million new people across this globe, but you're going to lose 5 in the process of doing it. So
You're going to lose 5 from them dying this year.
Yeah, and then you're going to lose another 5 because they're going to be like me, and they're going to be like,
no.
well, this isn't any different than going to a basketball game or going to a football game or going to a baseball game.
Are gonna have they're gonna have their elite money, and they're gonna play at their elite clubs where they don't allow that. But everybody else, we're gonna go out to the minis, and we're gonna have a good time.
It's going to change. It'll all bleed down. It will. It'll have a trickle down effect. I mean, you're right. There'll be some courses that won't ever let it change, but it eventually will change a lot of places. And do I think there's some fun aspects of what we're seeing the game become? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun every once in a while, just getting some music going with the boys and jamming. And
Gucci
I
bags and
won't
shit
take
like
away
that. I
from
love
that.
it.
But at the same
I
time,
love it.
like one of the things that is the most fun about golf, and my favorite time to walk, believe it or not, isn't so much with the boys, it's by myself. I love going out there
Absolutely.
and it being quiet and just taking it in, and that's awesome. And just because that's what I might like to do doesn't mean what everybody else is going to like to do. And next thing I know, you're going to have a bunch of jackasses on the golf course racing around, you know, speedy demons with freaking, jam boxes on the back of their golf carts, and they're going to be rocking out, and I'm going to freaking hate it. And I don't think I'm alone in that.
You're
And
not.
I don't think the game as a whole would benefit from encouraging such behavior, because at the end of the day, this has mostly always been a gentleman's sport and a ladies' sport, and it's been all about teaching people, different kinds of etiquette, encouraging people to, behave in a different manner. And that's why we see programs like the First Tee,
we're still gonna have etiquette,
like the
we're
Tiger
just
Woods
talking about, like,
Foundation.
one hole.
We're not talking about one hole. It will
Yeah,
go
you gotta
so
have
much
one
bigger
good
than that.
hole.
Look at it will get so much bigger than that. And I'm not just talking about the music, but I'm also talking about like the match play. Like I think that's actually cool because I enjoy playing match play. But retrofitting the playoffs, because I'll get into that for a second. Retrofitting the playoffs to mirror more of like other sports, why would we do that? This is a completely individual sport for one. But for
Because the
another
playoffs
thing,
are
It's
trash
mirroring
in
Q
golf.
school.
Yeah.
but that's not what Q
It's
school is
mirroring
like.
Q school.
No, it's not. There's no
What's
match play in Q school. All you're trying to do is
Okay.
hit a
Well, it's a
benchmark.
combination between Q school and the NCAAs. It's
But
cool.
we don't want to be like other sports. And here's one of the problems. The Tour Championship on the PGA Tour is stupid. It is so dumb. Like,
Yes.
you're actually watching professional golfers go out there, and because someone played better, they get a head start. Golf has never been about that. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the worst event of the year. It's worse than watching the John Deere. You want to know the reason why I watch it? Just because I hope whoever starts with a head start ends up losing. I hope they finish dead freaking last. It sucks. Unless I happen to have some money riding on that one in our fantasy league, then it can be interesting and fun. But outside of that, it sucks. It's like, I freaking hate you because you got a head start. Golf has never been about a head start. That's why we have a
I,
handicap system.
True.
Because I'm gonna spank EJ's ass every time we go out and play. But we have a
I'd like
freaking
that.
Head start
handicap
is a
system so we can have an even match. Not
Yeah.
this
I love
this
this
handicap.
stance. I love that you're standing in this. This is phenomenal because I'm fully into getting rid of net tournament. That's why I think match play would be more interesting, right? You got 4 matches Thursday, 4 matches. You know what I'm saying?
Do
Nobody's
you think
playing
you could
18
beat
holes.
me? Do you think you could beat me straight up in even 10 attempts? And how
In
many
match
times?
play?
In match play?
Yes.
No, Pat, I'm not asking you.
No,
I'm
Yes.
asking EJ.
Anybody
I
wins in
do.
match play in 10 matches.
How many times? How many times do you think you could beat me without any
know.
aid?
Man, Scott thinks he's gonna fucking
I
Tiger
don't know.
Robert Ainge right here. He acts
I
like
don't
he's gonna
know.
close you out
30,
with every hole.
40%. I think I'm winning 3 or 4 times.
No.
Bro,
Nope.
see the
I give you
difference
1 out of
between you and I.
25.
Are
I
you
give you 1 out of 25.
serious? Oh man. See, like my the difference between you as a scratch and me as an 8 is I'm gonna have a blow up hole. And that blow up hole or those 2 doubles aren't gonna matter.
Can you go out and make 12 pars in a round?
Yes.
How often?
When I'm sober.
How often are you sober on a golf course?
If we're playing this, if we'll play this match, I'll be sober.
Okay.
So
Heads
this
up.
mic kind of makes me look weird, right? It kind of makes me look like I'm just a head with a black body.
I really wish you had gotten a mic that's like the one sitting on top of our tee. Just saying.
Well, I'm gonna get a thing that hangs this, so it looks like a big thing in my face instead.
There you go.
You can go with the big fuzz.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get a pop filter and all that jazz.
Look, I'm not trying to hate on you, but in all seriousness, I mean, the handicap system serves a purpose. Do I
Dude, I
think
know
that?
you're not trying to hate on me at all. Talk your shit. I stand in your opinion. I love that.
But I will say honestly, you will not win. Heads
I
up,
want,
no way.
I want to try.
Maybe if I took the driver out of the bag.
Oh,
You
come
forced
on.
me. The last time we played the same tees. You hit a good tee shot, and one of the first things you said was like, "Shit, I just got a new driver, and you just outdrove me with your 6-year-old 3-wood."
Hey,
Could have happened.
it
Yeah,
happens, man.
it
It
does.
happens.
But just think about it, like, we need the handicap system because, yes, you are an 8 handicap, and you probably can play to a 3 or a 4 legitimately when you're playing well. There's no question about that. I mean, I think your potential goes below your handicap for certain, and the handicap's supposed to be a measure of your potential. But to your point, you're gonna have a big hole pretty much every
I
round or close to every
I
round.
see, and that's match play.
Yeah.
It's one. That's one. And in all honesty, I I would see an 8 handicap getting trash talk like that and showing up to the golf course and maybe having a little extra oomph in there. It might not make that triple. It might make a birdie or two, and Scott makes a bogey or two, and all of a sudden it's going the other way real quick.
I'm gonna make it real hard for you to beat me because even when I'm playing like shit, I'm gonna make 11 or 12 pars in a round. I'm gonna make
You
at
take
least
my
11 or
I know.
12. And if you're gonna play me heads up without the aid of some strokes, that means you've got to have at least 11 or 12, holes of par or better to match me. And I'm probably gonna make a couple birdies and then, maybe fill in the rest of the bogeys. And that's why I'm not like a true scratch, but my handicap's low single digit. I think my index right now is like a 0.8. And that at the end of the day, that's why, because I don't have very many big numbers and I make a lot of pars.
I
And that's
want
one of the things that
all the
separates us.
smoke.
Like, an 8 handicap that's a really good 8 is probably going to go out and make close to an equal number of pars, but they're going to have some big holes and not a lot of birdies, and that's why they're an 8. And you got your guys like me, and then you got some 8 handicaps that just go out and they make like 9 pars, 9 bogeys, and they're kind of boring to watch, or 8 bogeys, 10 pars, or 10 bogeys and whatever. I mean, it's just something like that. And those guys are actually the ones that are going to be more challenging for me without a handicap, because of the fact that I know they're going to go out and match or nearly match my pars on a lot of rounds. And if they happen to get hot, make some birdies, shit, I'm in trouble. Even though it is match play and it's 1 or 2 holes, when you give up that high hole, I'm gonna pounce on you so hard, and I'm gonna go
That's the
after you.
point.
And in match play, that's where I do talk shit, and I'm gonna just get in your head, and you're gonna wish the
He
bag
is
of
selling
cats
this
would
so
escape.
hard, and nobody's buying right now. I don't think, but he is selling the hell out of it. I don't think anybody's
Match
buying
play's a
it.
different
My
animal,
man, my
and
man
we
EJ said he shot 60 something at Chi. Like, I mean, he might have that day.
have you seen Chi Chi? The par is 69.
Yep,
It's like
he
it's
shot
like
par
50.
golf. That means
It's
that
like
he made more
5,400
than 12
yards.
pars. I have a feeling. It don't matter. It's still
It's like
pars.
5,400 yards. No, and that is a good score. Don't get me wrong. Chi Chi's tight. You
Par
got to
golf.
you got to golf your ball around there. But here's what I'm going to tell you.
Match play,
You take away
sometimes
the
you got to
handicap
shoot 2, 3
system,
better than the other guy.
you take away the handicap system, you're going to see a lot of upset golfers. And when you start looking at courses that have men's match play championships and women's match play championships and junior match play championships, and they no longer have a net division, you're not going to have very many guys left competing and ladies competing. The juniors
No.
sometimes have both, not often.
Because nobody wins the match play, but the 12 to 8 handicap. I feel like we've discussed this before.
in net, but
Yeah,
but a lot of people still go
but the
compete.
scratch golfer never wins a club match play because it's net.
Yeah, but at
It's
least you
like
get a lot of people that
it's
compete in
damn
it.
near impossible because there's always that guy that's a 12 that either sandbags or steps his game up one day and shoots
Yeah,
76, and that guy is really hard to beat playing
yeah.
scratch golf. I mean, you got to shoot
But
5,
you
6
take
deep to beat that guy
so if you've got
when he's
just
getting 12.
you look at you look at your normal private club and you've got 60, 70 people competing in the match play, the club match play. Okay.
Yeah,
You're probably gonna have a gross and net division. How many guys are gonna be in that gross?
4,
Yeah. Maybe a dozen if you're lucky.
6. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, a dozen. Like you have a super high end active club that like those guys are members at other clubs as well
Maybe
to
not
get a
necessarily,
dozen.
but
I
you got a lot
feel.
of low handicappers. How many are gonna
Yeah,
be in that
you'd have to have a pile of them though, or you
yeah.
got a bunch of people that don't need to be there.
Yeah. So you take away handicaps, no more
Yep.
handicaps. And now that match play no longer just has a gross and a net division. It is just strictly gross. It's everybody go out and have a how many people you think are gonna go ahead and compete. You're gonna get a few of those high handicappers and say, F it, I'm gonna go do it. But you've pretty much annihilated that championship.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you have to have net in match play.
Yeah. So we need a handicap system.
I still want
EJ saying I
smoke.
don't
I
need it today.
I
EJ saying
applaud
I don't
you.
need it today. I don't need you.
I
I need your
applaud you for
strokes. I
I
want
applaud
that
you for
smoke.
bringing it up. He wants that
He's
strokes.
at 36 with the white belt, ready to go play. He was ready to go play
Yeah.
some match play, but they said no net. He said I don't care.
Excuse me, Mr. Johnson, your guest.
That's right.
He's a
That's
36.
right.
Here's his white belt for today's round.
That's right. That's right. I'm playing anyway. I paid my money.
What'd you guys think of my LIV-PGA Tour take?
I
I don't
kind of
I
like
don't
it.
I don't not like it.
It's not a bad
I don't
idea.
think they're gonna agree to it though.
No,
So I like the
At
premise,
this
like
point,
in
they'll just watch their pickleball teams play, right?
yeah,
Right. Well,
I like the
the premise is based on stiffest competition possible, right? If that's what
yeah.
you're trying to do, is have a unified golf world and have the stiffest competition and have the cream rise to the top, that's the only way that you're going to do it. But that's not what they want to do. They want to pad the pockets of all these guys that didn't go, and it's going to continue to be the mediocre product that we continue to see.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what I like is the premise, because if people actually allowed to play out the way that you kind of spelled it out, then it would work and the best players would be seen and they would play. But if they get out and they play to their ability, they are only going to play a couple times a month. And they're going to go on the road for 2 weeks and then be home for 2 weeks. And then they're going to work like the rest of us 10 to 12 months out of the year, which they might not be happy about, but at the same time, they're not going to go out and be having any more 4, 5, 6 week stretches on the road, you know?
No.
And that's why I say it could work if they allow it to work. But guys will complain and they're going to sit there and say, oh, we're going to have one stretch, or we're going to have this stretch where it's, only 1 week off in 5 weeks. And no, this doesn't work for me. We don't want this. And they're just going to reject it. They're going to refute it. And all it takes is just a couple of guys, or a high profile player like a Rory McIlroy, and they're going to sit there and say, no way, Jose, get the hell out of town. And so that's why I don't think it would work, but it is intriguing. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I feel that all fans just want to see the best players in the world play at the same time. I mean, that's all that it is. They want to see the biggest names and the best players. And it doesn't have to be the most grueling tournament or the most, in crazy, just, you know, nutty tournament, intense tournament. It doesn't have to be that. They just have to be the best players in the world playing the best golf they possibly can.
you know what
And
I do want to see?
what's that?
I want to see a superintendent's revenge in professional golf.
That could be cool. Yeah. I don't like where there's like, the best players are kind of sprinkled in a tournament here and they're sprinkled in a tournament there where, Scotty and Rory and Justin Thomas are at this tournament, but nobody else is. And then Jordan Spieth and Ricky are at this tournament, and nobody else is. And it's like, nah, I want to see the best players when they play. I want to see them all play. And I mean, if they have tournaments for the other guys, that's fine, but I don't think people want to watch that. Like, how many people? I wonder what the ratings were for the John Deere this week or last week. They couldn't be. I'm sure the U.S. Women's Open was catching up quick.
I watched that over the John Deere. I didn't watch
I
Sepp
did as
Straka.
well. I
I
did
saw
as well.
I saw yesterday the U.S. Women's Open had the highest ratings in its history.
That's amazing, man. That
Let's
shows
go.
they
Let's
need
No,
to go
golf.
to they need to get to venues that matter. That's what that's all about. What
cool,
venues would you want the designated events to be? In my plan.
cool courses. Like, get away from these big monsters or these like idyllic resorts or whatever. I mean, it would be cool to see maybe one or two played at like Abandon. It'd be cool to see more taking place at like um, Whistling Straits, or out on Kiowa, because sometimes
You,
they got some good courses with good challenges.
I want to see
Um,
Chambers Bay get another shot.
So like of the tour events that they have, anything worth being a designated event outside of maybe Pebble and Bay Hill?
I mean, the
Oh,
Memorial.
well, I mean, we're counting Sawgrass, right? The
Yeah,
players.
Yeah.
Sawgrass too. Memorial.
Um, yeah, Memorial.
That's a cool tournament.
The waste
I'd love,
management.
Yeah.
Waste management's a
yeah.
big deal. I mean, the waste management's got to be in there.
Well, and I think so
Um,
does Harbortown.
yes, Harbortown has to
You
be in
think?
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the tournament after the Masters, dude. Like Harbortown is its
Does
own.
it
Yeah, Absolutely.
Does
It's
it
the
stay
best week
that
after
week?
a major.
It's the best week after a major every single year. Yes, Harbortown is a good tournament.
Okay.
And if you went to see that course, even if you didn't play, you just get to walk the grounds. Such a cool course. That's what I'm talking about. Like there's so much like cool strategic play to that course. It's so interesting, and it's like barely 7,000 yards.
I can't remember which one it is. There's a cool one out in Texas. They played it at like Trinity. Isn't the course called Trinity out there?
Yeah, it used to be the Byron Nelson. Now it's at TPC Craig Ranch, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah. No, that tournament's not cool anymore. I think you put the Valspar in there at Innisbrook.
I'm all in support of that.
I mean,
Valspar's a good track.
Copperhead is Copperhead. You know, I mean, that's a good one.
When's the last time a winner was over par, or not over par, but over 10 under? It's been a decent amount of time. Maybe the dude this year, but prior to that, the winners at the Valspar haven't been over 10 under.
Let's fact check that.
Where's Jamie? We need Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. We need Jamie on that one. Yeah. No, that's no, I think the Valspar is a good tournament.
I love it, man.
You know
But
what
I'm
I wish
partial.
they would do something cool with is TPC Louisiana. I think that behind the Tour Championship is probably the second worst tournament we have. And they really tried to make that cool, but they just lost.
I like the format and I like the course. I'm not saying it's a great event, but I like that they did a team event, and I like seeing them play, the alternating formats, best ball and alternating shot. So I personally like it, and I like most NEP die course because he uses strategic play and he intimidates, visually, but he actually makes his courses relatively fair.
That's it, and it's a cool golf course, and it's a cool area down there. I mean, it's a neat area to play golf.
Do you like team? You like best ball? You'd really love my live idea.
All right, so
I mean,
you want
I
history
like
of
the team
Valspar?
stuff, and I like that stuff. It's just that one. I don't know what it is. It's something about it. I'm just not a fan of it. It's
All right,
almost like
history
they
of
need to do
Valspar.
like blind draw teams or something,
2023.
Taylor Moore.
Yeah, wait. How many did you say were sub -10 in like the last 10 years?
Was Taylor Moore 12 under?
10 under. But how many? How many in the last 10 years?
I would say less than half.
Less than half were 10 or
I would
greater, or 10 or
say,
less?
I would
10 or
say
less.
50% or 10 or less, and 50% or 10 or more.
All right, so 2023, Taylor Moore -10.
Okay.
2022 and 2021, Sam Burns -17. 2019,
Okay, that's more than 10.
yeah, 2019, you got Paul Casey at -8. 2018, Paul Casey at -10. 2017, Adam Hadwin at -14. 16, Charles Schwartzel at -7. 2015, Spieth at -10. John Senden in 2014 at -7, and Kevin Streelman 2013 at -10. So you are actually pretty close to being right.
If I'd have said -11, I'd have been right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam Burns lit it up.
He did. Back-to-back seasons too.
Schwartzel's, It wasn't it Schwartzel that shot 14?
No, he was -7.
Adwin shot 14. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a perfect track for like a designated event. You want to see the big guys there. It would be interesting to see if because I know Rahm has played the event. Yeah, I know. He didn't finish outside of -10.
Tiger really won. He was in it.
Finished second, but I don't think he was at -10. What was the winner at 2019?
I think it was either 18 or 19 the year that Tiger showed up, and it was during Paul Casey's era. So
yeah, he won in 2019. So if Paul Casey was at 10, Tiger was at 8 or 9.
In 18, Casey was at -10, and in 19, Casey was at -8.
Okay, so Tiger was at 7.
So Tiger was minus. He was sub.
I think it was minus. Yeah, I think Tiger might have been there in 19.
you could get guys to go there. Spieth has played it. Rahm has played it. You know what I mean? These guys have played it. DJ plays it all the time when he was the PGA Tour member. So it's had the big guys, and those guys haven't won. So I'd fight for it to be a designated event.
But should it be a designated event on the premise of?
I think you take a live to back page, Bethpage.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
I think you take a live to Bethpage. Like if you want to put those courses in there of like the cool ones to play, I think Bethpage is one of those. Like, but no U.S. Open Bethpage. Just
Yeah.
pro golf tournament Bethpage. That's it.
See,
no
and
6-inch rough or nothing. Just make it a golf course and make it. Hey, the tour's coming. That's all
I don't
you
really
gotta
think
do.
Bethpage is that cool of a golf course. It's just brutal.
Yeah, but I think
Marion.
the whole setting in general, I think is cool. Marion is another cool one. Like
Yeah,
I think
Marion's a cool
but
course.
see, you get the New Yorkers out there at Bethpage, and it
Okay.
makes the golf course a little different, And I
Yeah.
mean, they're gonna show up to hey, they got an event out there, they're gonna show up, and they're gonna show up the same way every single time, and it's gonna
Brookline was
be a good
fun.
time. Yeah,
Brookline was fun.
the
So
course
going
wasn't
back
that
to
great though to me. It was kind of blah.
Oh, I liked it. So let's go back to Valspar and its history for a minute. There was a time when that was like a mixed event, and it actually came to a halt in 1999.
It was the J.C. Penney Classic.
Yeah, and so Y2K wasn't good for it. But let's just roll back through some names.
John Daly played with Laura Davies.
Yeah, and I want to get back to 1983.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot it was that event, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yep.
That's right.
So 1999, because you already brought it up.
And Big John, yeah.
1999, John Daly and Laura Davies won with 260.
Yeah.
Let's go to 95. Davis Love
Laura
and Beth
Davies
Daniel.
Good golf, dude. She could ball, man.
Yeah.
Listen to this. 95. Davis Love, Beth Daniel, 257.
Wow.
257.
Beth Daniels was awesome.
Yeah.
I used to work the Centel Classic as a kid. They would take like a reporter. A reporter would record on a tape, and then I would take the tape and I'd run it back to the clubhouse, and then they would use it at like his radio audio. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was the Centel Classic back in the day. It was at Killarn. It was the Centel Classic, and then became the Sprint. It was an upper echelon kind of tournament. What we're talking about, like not a major, but like one of the better ones. It was in that group. Like we're talking about Valspar and Bay Hill and stuff like that. Yeah, the Sprint Classic at Killarn was that. Yeah, I was running tapes back and forth, man. You hope they didn't make a putt on like 13, because that was like the first spot from the clubhouse. It's like, nah, y'all just make bogey and keep moving,
Here's some more interesting names: Dan Forsman and Dottie Mockery. Like, when's the last time you heard either of those names?
I've never heard either of those names.
I remember the name
really?
Dottie Mockery. Yeah,
and Dan Forsman for certain. I probably got Dan Forsman's PGA Tour card in my closet.
I was gonna say Dan Forsman sounded like he played for the Brewers. Dan Forsman sounded like he played for the Brewers.
Like a big visor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the lady that wore the hats? I think she played Yonex back in the day, like back in the Mickelson days. She wore the hats.
Remember Patty Sheehan?
Michelle? Yeah.
Michelle
Patty
McGann.
Sheehan. Michelle McGann. That was her
name.
Yeah, Michelle.
My
McGann.
mom played a golf round with her.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
My mom played a round with her. Yeah.
And who was another one? Like Pat Bradley. Pat Bradley was a baller back in the day. I think she won the Centel one year.
1989, she won with Bill Glasson at the J.C. Penney.
Did Joanne Carter play in the J.C. Penney?
Oh, I don't know, but
yes, old school women's golfer.
Yes, John Mahaffey and Joanne Carter won in 1982.
John Mahaffey.
Yep, and then the following year, the following year, Fred Couples won with Jan Stephenson.
Get out
Jan
of here.
Stevens,
Jan
yes,
Stephenson.
Jan
I
Stephenson,
know her.
former girlfriend of our former POTUS, and now the owner, if I'm not
Really?
mistaken,
Hold on.
still the owner of Tarpon Woods.
She used to be the girlfriend of Trump.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
know
as
that.
the story goes, he wouldn't stop dating Ivanka or Melania, who I don't know, I don't follow it.
Why would he? He's
He wouldn't
Trump.
stop dating her, so they just kind of like agreed to split. So
Who was?
Yes, she does own the course that is very close to our house. It is an absolute travesty of a track. It's
Yeah.
awful. Yeah. Yeah, they need like copious amounts of money and nobody
Nancy
plays it.
Lopez on that list?
Yes.
1980 with Curtis Strange.
Ooh, Lopez and Strange in 80? Yeah, that's a tough team right there. Good luck to everybody else.
Yep. There's some names on here, man. Wasn't Mike Donald the guy that they used to call like the laser or something? I don't know. He's on
I don't
here.
know that one.
He played with Vicky Alvarez. Gosh, 1991, Billy Andrade and Chris Cheddar.
Don't remember Chris Cheddar. Definitely remember Billy Andrade though.
Yeah. Jerry
He's a
Pay
Florida
won in
guy.
77 with Hollis Stacy.
77.
Yeah. We weren't
7,
alive.
baby. Mm-mm.
We weren't alive. Yeah.
Nope.
Cool event though. And see, that's the stuff I like. I like seeing that. That's why I kind of like,
And like the
dessert.
father-son stuff and, some of the,
Yeah.
I think it's cool when you have some of the guys bring out their kids. I think that's the cool part when they bring out their kids. I get the guys on tour playing with their dads. I think that's special too, but it's not the same as some of these guys bringing their kids out. And even some of the guys that their kids are not good at golf. I kind of enjoy that too. You know what I mean? Like, so and so's kid's really not that good. They can play just to be out there, but they're not going to be Charlie.
So interesting you bring that up. Last December, I played in a scramble outing for Florida Southern, and I won a raffle for a foursome at the Ritz Carlton in Orlando. So I grabbed some buddies, we go play, and we had to take a 4 caddy. So we had to either like
Sweet.
take caddies or a 4 caddy, and so we decided we wanted to ride for the day and get the 4 caddy. So we did that, and I can't remember his name, but I want to say it was Brian. Brian was cool. We get talking to him. He used to be a professional, wasn't digging it, and he wanted to get over and try out the whole caddy thing. Much happier doing that, and so he tells us, "Hey, one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do was just a few weeks ago. I got to be the first tee starter for the PNC." And so, he's like right there, when Tiger and Charlie are hitting and everything. And right before the event, Tiger, was quoted for saying, "Yeah, Charlie can get it up to 117, swing speed." That's impressive, because I don't even think the average swing speed of a PGA Tour player or Korn Ferry Tour player or DP World Tour or LIV or any of those is 117. And this is a kid that's like 13, 14 years old. You can tell he's probably already working out, but he's still 13, 14 years old. Probably at best is started puberty, but he's still a squirt.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
97. Yeah.
He said this kid is hitting it like 240 off the tee. He's like,
Yeah.
Tiger's playing from 70 behind him and out driving him. And so he's like, really? He's like, really? He's like, he's maybe pumping it out 100, 101, and he hit 117. So
Yeah.
I found that to be
Ball
really
speed.
interesting.
That's crazy.
I hope I don't get anybody in trouble for telling his story, but
Any Tiger
That's
story is
funny.
good.
yeah,
I love
117.
Mhm.
So
117. Nah.
I kind of figured Tiger probably didn't. Tiger wasn't full of shit. I was like,
No.
Man,
it's
hard to
possible. I
tell
mean, he's trying
though.
to swing like Rory.
Tiger's not full of shit. Charlie's swinging 117.
Okay. All right. We'll go with it.
It was ball speed, man. Ball speed. They took it out of context.
And you're gonna beat me out in match play.
That we're gonna at least try. We're gonna at least try. I want
We'll
the
do-
smoke.
I'm still waiting to see how fast DJ can play around the golf. He was supposed to try that like 4 weeks.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance, man. I haven't had a day off. I've worked like 17 days in a row. It's been brutal. It's been brutal.
All right. Speaking of no days off, I gotta go to work tomorrow, and it's getting late.
Me too. I'll holler at you boys later.
All right, man.
All right,
Y'all be
boys.
good.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Later.